Greetings, fellow songwriters and seekers, and welcome back to Muse and Measure. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the subscribe button somewhere down there. All right, so people have been asking me for some tips on improving and improvisation, for probably how to pronounce it. I really should learn that first. Improvisation. Because as I've been saying in my recent videos, this new album that I have coming out in October called Fool's Leap of Faith, it's titled that because this leap of faith that I did was this using improvisation, which I see as a leap of faith, because it's going in a Kierkegaardian sense of the term, really pushing my learnedness here. It's pushing past logic and reason to get at the sublime, to get at what's underneath. And we're not, of course, abandoning the logical, the reasonable. You're not abandoning music theory. But they all of a sudden are going to be servants as opposed to masters. They're not going to be calling all the shots. They are going to help you when you get into trouble. And so people have been asking, like, well, what are some tips to keep in mind? Okay. Well, I think you have to do it for a certain. The first tip is you have to do it for a certain amount of time in order to kind of let those impulses relax. Let your inner editor relax so that it doesn't feel like it needs to constantly going, oh, that was good, that was bad, you should redo that again, that was close. Which I catch myself doing when I'm doing improv sometimes. I'll sing something like, lonely dog on the mountainside. And then my editor will go, oh, that was pretty good, but maybe sing it a little bit higher. Lonely dog on the mountainside. You know, things like that. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, I realize I'm doing a songwriting session, where I'm just trying out things in different formations, trying them out till I find the right one. That's not what improving is. It's like you're going to keep going. You don't want to repeat, okay? So what that means is, like, once an idea is said, move on. It's done. You can't go back and edit it. You can go back and edit it later, but what you want to do is to keep going, to see what's going to be revealed next. The second piece of advice I would say is don't start singing until you hear something. There's going to be an impulse to really start singing right away. And I think in my previous video where I did 1 minute of improv, I probably sang too soon and it was kind of forced. But wait till there's some kind of inner emotion that comes out that kind of speaks by itself. And you can even start with a hum and then slowly start to bring in lyrics. The third piece of advice would be use your surroundings. Like, what do you see? Where are you right now? What's going on with you in the moment? You don't have to be doing Beowulf in your mind and trying to remember the whole plot line and singing a song about Beowulf unless that's actually what's on your mind that moment. So if I look around the room, I can see different things. I remember when I on this new album, I wrote a song called It's Been So Long Since Yesterday. And it starts out like this. White feathers litter the ground next to a capo to change the key next time you come around. So how did I come up with that? Well, I was looking at the table where I was working, and there were some feathers. My daughter had this little feather boa, and there was a couple little feathers on the ground, and there was a capo on the table. So that's where that image came from. And then I developed that idea throughout the song, and it comes back. And then when I looked it up later, I realized that white feathers is symbolic for mourning the loss of somebody. And that was kind of creepy because the song was about, missing someone, like this person who was the most important person in their life, this love interest, and missing him so much that it feels like an eternity since yesterday. Of course, the song's a little bit silly too because this person is obsessing with this person that they just met. So that's also another little surrealistic aspect to that. So use your surroundings. And the last one that I wanted to say, and I'm sure there's tons of others that we can think of, and I'll address them in the future, is that you don't have to rhyme. You can just you know, if rhyming is too cumbersome, if you hear a rhyme, obviously use it. You know, so if something pops in your mind that rhymes and you want it to rhyme, that's great in the moment. But if that's really hanging you up and you're like, okay, what rhymes with dog? What rhymes with fog? You know, then it's just, you know, it can really hamper your creative process. You can always make it rhyme later. Okay? So just start playing, and you know, you could pick a key if you want, but you can also just mess around. Just do something like that. Or, you know, if you're just starting out doing this, just pick 2 chords. Lately, I've been thinking, oh, I've been sinking back into you. When it's the last thing that I want to do. Time spent, and I can repent. I find myself committing the exact same sin. Asking when will it end? Asking how I can find my way around the bend. It's been temptation matched with procrastination, and I can't find my footing. Time to start moving, but my feet are attached to your floor, and it will take an infinite amount of spaces till I can slam your door. Okay, so it started out kind of, as you can see, and this is part of the process. It starts out kind of clunky, and it starts out kind of awkward and kind of like, yeah, just kind of forced, you know. Well, that's just your reason and logic and your editor mindset kind of just trying to still steer the ship. And then once they start to relax a little bit, then something comes out. And so I didn't really like it until the last couple lines where it started to say, you know, an infinite amount of space to be able to slam your door. That I started to like. Of course, maybe if I listen to it back later, I'll like other parts too. But that's my first impression after just playing it. So that's just an example of how to like get started and, you know, just try it over and over again, and then just do this as part of your daily songwriting practice. You know, set a goal of maybe just doing 1 minute, and then build it up to 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, however long you have, and then maybe 1 day a week, listen back what you've got and see what you came up with that is good. Maybe you'll come up with some really cool little song ideas, or chord progressions, or something from it. You know, it's another way to tap in to your creative mindset. It's like a stream of consciousness, but you're doing it with an instrument while you're singing, and you know, trying to come up with, you know, something that is of use for your songwriting process. So anyways, if you have any other questions, or if you think of other useful tips, please put it down in the comments below. If you want to message me directly, it's tyler@musemeasure.com. And I wish you the best of luck with your songwriting, your improving, and your spiritual practice. This is all about the spiritual practice and expanding and transcending that dreaded ego. All right, take care.